Hi everybody, this is Colin Hudon, founder of Immuni-Tea. I just wanted to do a quick check-in and share some ideas. Mostly I'm interested in positivity and seeing both sides of what's happening in the world right now. Um, and so I want to talk a little bit about the times we're in, ideas for boosting immunity and general health, a little bit about Corona and flattening the curve, and also what I think is important in terms of keeping perspective with everything that's happening in the world right now. Um, People tend to focus a lot more on aspects of what's happening that are causing a lot of anxiety, and sometimes they're missing the bigger picture. Somebody told me yesterday that the canals in Venice are clear and you can see fish in them for the first time in as long as anybody can remember. I think in the broader, bigger picture, this is a moment when we're seeing far less travel via planes and cars and a lot less environmental pollution as businesses are shutting down. So in a sense, it's giving nature a chance for some recovery and kind of a break from the pressures and stresses that are put on the natural systems of the earth. And ultimately, that could be a really good thing, both for general human health, but also for the earth herself. So just something to keep in mind and also to appreciate as you do go outside, hopefully either by yourself or just with the people you're in quarantine with, to really appreciate nature at this moment, and also recognize that one of the best and most effective disinfectants is sunlight, also for D production and for serotonin production and generally staying in a good positive state of mind and being. Um, so also, I think that we live in a time where people work a lot and very hard. So having an opportunity to take a breather as a collective is also beneficial to our well-being as humans. So the vital systems of the earth, but also human beings in general, being able to take a moment and take stock of what's really important, connect with one another. Um, we're so fortunate and privileged to have technology through which we can communicate with one another. Um, okay, so as far as Immuni-Tea goes, I'm offering a 15% discount just specifically on everything that we carry, but specifically tinctures, medicinal herbs, mushrooms, and teas. As some of you know, I practice traditional Chinese medicine. I'm also very interested in biomedical science and modern Western medicine. And my brother is a doctor, a Western doctor. We've talked a lot about what's going on. So if you enter the code immunity, all caps, when you check out, you have access to a discount on tinctures. So we have a vitality tincture that really boosts immunity, a calming tincture that is very helpful for anxiety if people are really overwhelmed with what's happening. A lot of our medicinal mushrooms, cordyceps and the 14 mushroom blend, are really great for immunity, for boosting immunity. And I posted something in our stories yesterday. So in the medical community, they're calling this corona SARS-CoV-2 instead of COVID-19 because the GenBank name for the virus is more accurate to call it SARS-CoV-2 because it's 96% identical in nucleotide sequence to SARS back in 2002 and 3. And so I came across an NIH study in some of my research that tested 720 natural compounds. Two of the compounds had inhibitive activity against viral replication of SARS, which, like I said, is 96% identical to coronavirus. And those are the tannic acids and 3-isotheoflavin 3-gallate, and those both belong to a group of polyphenols in tea, especially in pu'er and black tea, or what we call red tea more accurately. So drinking red tea and pu'er tea is very beneficial right now. Also, Shou pu'er is really helpful for maintaining metabolic health, and so assimilation of nutrients and herbs. Also, tea increases fluid intake, maintains healthy circulatory system. It's a really rich source in vitamins, and it helps boost the immune system. because L-theanine boosts T cells. So not to bore you with scientific details, but the point is that tea is a really beneficial, I think, at this time if you're going to be consuming any fluids, and I think worth checking in on. Obviously, organic teas, living teas are going to be more beneficial than processed plantation teas. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is what I call the 6 healths. These are ways that I personally maintain health and I don't get sick really ever in many years. The first is sleep. A lot of people are like on their phones reading about what's going on in the world, like right up until they fall asleep. And that's kind of a recipe for disaster, both exposure to the screen, but also going to bed in an anxious state. So I'm recommending folks to turn their phones off and limit screen time, after 8 p.m. Do something not related to coronavirus. Read a book you enjoy or do something that brings you joy and happiness, and so you can fall asleep peacefully. That will significantly increase your ability to get deep REM sleep. The second one, so sleep is 1, 2 is food. People are recommending cooking their food, obviously non-processed and clean foods. And cooking the foods is going to ensure that in transportation there's no exposure to potential viruses. I don't think that's so much of an issue because of the time that the viruses can live on surfaces, but just to be safe, I would recommend cooking foods. The third is meditation. That's both to address anxiety. I noticed in my meditations that I watch my nervous system kind of downstep until I'm actually calm and grounded again. I think in general, people are very anxious these days. Also to support objectivity, being present in the moment. This means being able to observe what's actually happening in the moment and not just reacting to our thoughts and our emotions based on all the information we're receiving. So I'm practicing coming back to, okay, what's actually happening in this moment? And what I discover is that most of my loved ones are safe, I'm safe in the moment, and things are okay. So I think we tend to react to our thoughts maybe unnecessarily or excessively. The fourth thing is movement. Like I said, getting outside. I know where we are in Telluride, if you're outside, you have to be by yourself. So going out by yourself for a hike and general movement, maybe more dynamic movement to move the qi in the blood, and also kind of boost moods, and exposing oneself to nature. Walking in a forest, there's a natural balance there, and the trees are not going to be talking to you about fear and anxiety. So taking time to get out and get a broader perspective on what's going on, and moving the body is really essential. The fourth thing is, for me, it's tea, but any kind of ritual practice to connect you to something larger and also to feel grounded. At times like this, I think we tend to spin out on our thoughts, whereas having some kind of ritual or ceremonial practice connects us to a bigger picture and helps us to feel more grounded. The next thing is sobriety. I think this is a really important time. Liquor stores and dispensaries here in Telluride have stayed open. I think they shut down today, but a lot of people want to run away from fear, and I don't think that's a good thing to do because alcohol in particular is an immunosuppressant. I think it's important to support our health in any way we can, and also to be more present through sobriety to our loved ones. And lastly, I think that there's a lot of fearful communication happening. I've noticed a lot of people getting really anxious, getting in arguments. And at this time, it's really important to try and cultivate kindness and respect and, again, to stay grounded. Okay, a couple quick things about Corona. There's a lot of talking about flattening the curve. They're saying the most important things right now are social distancing, faster testing, which it seems they are ramping up and refining that process, and immediate quarantining. Between these three things, they're saying that that's enough to get things under control and also reverse things. In China, I'm reading reports that they've gotten things under control. And apparently 85% of the cases, they've also been using Chinese medicine, so herbal formulas. I'm trying to do some research and contact friends to see what formulas they're using and to see if I have access to them. So I'll be sharing that information soon. It's also important, I think, that we're not hoarding at grocery stores. I think that's obvious, but take as much as you need for up to 10 days. Limit non-essential activities. This is a good time to be at home. There's a Jim Carrey quote that I read yesterday. He said something like, for us to be here, our elders had to cross oceans and go through extraordinary hardship and adversity and fight wars, and all they're asking us to do now is to sit on the couch. So, connect with friends, connect with loved ones, read a book, but in general, limit non-essential activities and hygiene habits. So the coronavirus can't live when it's been sprayed with disinfectants. So disinfect things. Obviously, there's no need to be insane about it, but just be smart and observe hygiene habits. There are a number of drugs with activity against the virus that have promising initial results. Remdesivir, chloroquine, and Camistat are some of them. I just read a medical article saying that they're having really promising anecdotal results from a number of different drugs. So there is a lot of hope for that, both from a Western medicine perspective, but also working with herbal medicines. So in general, take care of yourselves, stay calm, stay grounded, drink tea, and take a moment to take stock of what's really important and connect with people you love. In the meantime, we will keep learning what we're learning over here and sharing as opportunities arise. Wishing you all well. I hope you're healthy, and hang in there. Don't forget to laugh. Bye.